Shabbat Shalom, Lolita Stokes. Good to see you here. In the midst of much confusion, we decided to unify. We won't let the vision die. We know there is a greater purpose, one aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to what's preferred by Yah. Man keep his hand in the hand of Yah, with woman by his side. Our children will follow, and together in unity we'll shine and glorify Yah. Together forever we'll glorify Yah. In unity together we glorify Yah. In truth and in unity, one love, one destiny, one great God family. In truth and in unity, one love, one destiny, one great God family. Yeah. Nothing will ever come between us. Our bond is tight, doing what's required and what's right. No, there is a greater purpose, one aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to what's preferred by Yah. Man keep his hand in the hand of Yah, with woman by his side. Our children will follow. Together in unity we'll shine and glorify Yah. Together forever we'll glorify Yah. In unity together we'll glorify Yah. In truth and in unity, one love, one destiny, one great God family. In truth and in unity, one love, one destiny, one great God family. You gave us back to one another. He opened up our eyes, and he gave us the gift of the Yah. We know there is a greater purpose, one aim, one destiny, and we'll all stay aligned to us. We have heard by Yah. Man, keep your hands in the hands of Yah, with woman by your side. Our children will follow. Together in unity we'll shine and glorify Yah. Together forever and glorify Yah. In unity together we'll glorify Yah. Right now, and in unity, together one love, one destiny. One great family, together forever, we'll glorify Yah. In unity together, we'll glorify Yah. In truth and in unity, one love, one destiny, still got the glory. Together forever, you know you glorify Yah. In unity together, you glorify fire. It's true. I must be fast. Together forever, we'll glorify you. In unity together, we'll glorify you. Don't you know it's gonna be alright? It's gonna be alright. Come on, let's work together hand in hand. We're gonna spread love all over the land. Right now, it's truth and unity. One love, one aim, together forever. Glorify you. In unity together. Glorify you. In truth and in unity. Truth and unity. One love, one destiny. One.
I didn't want to repeat that. Go on.
From everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. Thou art God. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. From everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. From the beginning, wherever the earth was, you were there. You were there. You had creation in the palm of your hand. Sun, heaven above and earth below. The tide of the sea and the direction the winds blow. A humble servant you have made in me. A humble servant you have made. And my only desire is to follow thee. From everlasting to everlasting, everlasting to everlasting. Thou art God. From everlasting to everlasting. Thou art God. From everlasting to everlasting. Thou art God. From everlasting to everlasting. Thou art
All right, family. It's good to see you come. Shabbat Shalom to all of you that just entered the room. We're just going to go over a little something from the Bible that our people used to do. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. I do want you to see this. Okay, you should see Samuel, 2 Samuel, verse 6. I'm sorry, let me start all over. 2 Samuel, chapter 6, verse 14. Now, we used to have a variety of different holidays and celebrations in our history. Of course, because we are now separated in the four corners of the world, we don't really get to celebrate like we used to back in the day. But one thing that always used to catch my eye, David, before we would have celebrations, would be so excited. He would dance so hard, he would dance out of his clothes, and I love reading that scripture because can you imagine feeling that kind of excitement? Just being around your brothers and sisters and you're all celebrating together something as one big family, one big Hebrew family. That is exciting. But that's how excited David would get. I can't imagine, but he would be so excited he'd dance right out of his clothes. Now, we know we do the Sabbath. All right. Many of us fully understand how we celebrate the Sabbath once a week, the same day that the Most High rested during the time of creation. Now, we know we have our holy holidays, but another thing that our people did was do a big feast at the time of the new moon. So it was a time of gathering and gladness. It was a time that we feast. Now, the new moon signifies a time of renewal. It's a time when a lot of people will plant their new crops during the new moon. It's looked at as the beginning. All right. Yeah. It's amazing the things that we did. So we used to celebrate this time. This was a big time. We got together, had a feast. It was a big event once a month during the new moon. So as you can see, there are many scriptures in Numbers, Psalms, all the way through Chronicles, and it talks about the new moon. Now, like I said, I know that we are kind of far from doing this stuff because of the captivity that we're in, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to learn. You should still learn about what our people did, because even though we're not in the kingdom now, these are things that we will be doing once we're in the kingdom. We will go back to having a festival during the new moon. So you can find these scriptures. This is Numbers chapter 10, verse 10. Also, in the day of your gladness and in your appointed feast, and on the first days of your months, you shall blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, and they shall be as a reminder of you before our Most High, that I am your heavenly Father. And I say amen to that. And you can see in Psalms 81, verse 3, blow the trumpet at the new moon, at the full moon, on our feast day. So that's a big feast day and a big day of sacrificing. And again, it's a time of us renewing. All right. So it's a time we would have been out once a month planting our new seeds and getting that all ready for our new crops. And just think about it. We lived in the East, where it's generally warm throughout most of the year. So it was easy to restart a new crop over and over every month, because it was a very warm climate. Living in Akibalon, Africa, and around that region, it stays warm. So you can constantly keep growing more crop. So I just wanted you to see this. Not that, if you want to just have like a commemorating dinner for yourself on the new moon, you can. And I also pulled up the 2018 calendar for the new moon. In fact, let me put this in the chat so you will know the times the new moon appears in 2018. So let me go back to this website. And you can see every month, you'll see the full moon, the new moon. This calendar pretty much lets you know around the time when the new moon will occur. So we're in June. It's already passed. June 13th was the new moon. July 13th, the new moon. August 11th, September 9th, October 9th, November 7th, and December 7th. So those in our normal circumstance, if we were not disrupted from living our life, we would be celebrating each and every one of these times. Unfortunately, we were interrupted by this captivity that we are sitting in right now. We had a lot of fun moments as a Hebrew, and just know and understand that it's not a drag. It's actually a glorious thing to know who you are and know the kind of things our ancestors did back in the time when we were still together as one tribe. Yeah, we don't need to be looking at Gentile holidays. That does us no good. If you want to put your grill out and celebrate, do it on July 13th at the new moon. Put it out then. You have a reason to celebrate. All right. Now, there are some things I want to go over with some of you. Now, I know everybody is not into the Hebrew thing. I get it. But let me just tell you something more on a personal level on how I feel. Number one, if you are a Muslim, if you are a person that is all about your people, or you're a Christian, or anything outside of a Hebrew and you are still down for the cause, I have no issue with that. I'm not going to cut off a person that is trying to wake up my people, but they are not a Hebrew. I know some of our people have a problem with that, but just because I acknowledge this about myself, it does not mean that if we were going to come together to do something to improve our situation, it doesn't mean I would not want to be part of that. And I think that we get too caught up in things and not realize no matter what you call yourself, we still have one common enemy that we need to come together and fight against. And that's what we should do, and put aside all these differences for the greater good. I don't expect everybody to believe what I believe, but I'm not going to criticize you and call you stupid because you're a Muslim or you want to join forces with Minister Farrakhan, or you're a Christian and you want to remain with your pastor, but you know that you are for your people. I think we got to get past rejecting each other over things that really, if it's going to matter to anybody, it's going to matter to the Most High. Let him decide which one's okay and which one's not. We should not be getting caught up in that. And that is really disappointing. Like I said, I've had people in the past email me and said they love my channel, but can I cut down on all the Bible talk? And my answer to you is no. There are certain beliefs I have, and I'm going to express myself about it. So I will just suggest that when I am talking about these things, don't come to that video. Just skip over that video if you have an issue with that. We got to learn how to be civil with each other. Right now, we're not in a position to remain as divided as we are. That is a big problem. That we have so many hangups that we refuse to see that there's something bigger and greater that we need to be fighting against. And now more than ever, we have to fight against a system that is holding us down and playing all kinds of psychological games on us, trying to make us think, oh, we're not doing nothing. And they know they're lying. There is no point in listening any further when we have all kinds of centuries of evidence that they're not going to tell us the truth. This government has been very anti-Black all through the history. They're not going to tell us the truth. They'll come and harm you before they tell you the truth. We know how they roll. We got all the evidence we need. All I can say is I'm down for the cause. I hope many of you are, no matter what you consider yourself. All we can do is move forward and come up with our own strategy on how we are going to remain intact through probably one of the toughest times we've ever been in this country. So that's really up to you, ladies and gentlemen, what we do. But we got to remain strong. It ain't over. Not just yet. It's not over. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Believe me, our reward is going to be way greater than anything these folks have. America is going to look like a pile of junk compared to our kingdom to come. Okay? When you see what the Most High has waiting for us, you won't even care about this place being gone. You won't care. And there's a reason why he has a scripture in there that says, the Most High, his kingdom has many mansions. Those many mansions are for us, his children. That's who they're for. You're there's no point in you being jealous over these people. They don't have nothing that you should be jealous over. Nothing. Nothing. You know? And I laugh when they think they're flashing something in my face and making a big deal out of it. And really, they're just showing you a pile of junk. That's all they're showing you. Their money is fiat money, it's monopoly money. Their money is not even backed by anything. So you won't miss that either. It's just wicked the way this whole society is set up. Look, they charge you for water. Water. So even if you don't go out and buy a case of water, just using water at your house, these folks charge you for water that falls free from the sky. And there's ordinances like around where I live that says you can't even collect rainwater. They will fine you for collecting freaking rainwater that falls from the sky. See, only somebody wicked would take something that's free and throw a charge on it. When we get in our kingdom, none of this stuff will be in effect anymore. When they die, all of their rules and laws and everything will die right along with them. And I'll be happy when it all dies, because much of it is really stupid and has much to do about nothing. There was even a councilman in my area that even at one time, it must have been like 2011, he tried to suggest that anybody that has a garden in their backyard should have to pay. In other words, I got to pay the township in order to have a garden in my backyard. Yes, they actually tried to take it that far, but the bill that this man proposed did not pass. But that's how far they will take things. They don't even want you to grow your own food. They have an issue with that. They want us all 100% dependent on them in every kind of way. And anytime we try to be independent of them, then they will come up with laws to make sure you can't do that. Like I was telling you before, I can drive one town over, and the white folks in this town are allowed to have chickens, livestock, small livestock, like a chicken or a goat or something like that. But if you drive into my town where it's mostly black, it's prohibited for us to have chickens, although we have backyards that are big enough to have a chicken in or have a flock of chicken in. They won't let us have it. But one town over, they're allowed to have that. One town up the road from me on the other side, they can have a horse. There's white people. If I drive down the road, they got horses in their backyard. But if you come in my township, they have an ordinance where we can't even have a horse. We can't have chickens. We can't have goats. None of that stuff. So they're real sneaky about which towns can have it and which towns can't. And it's usually the predominantly white towns that can have virtually anything they want. But if you're in a black neighborhood here in New Jersey, those things are prohibited. It's real sneaky how they do these things. Real sneaky. And I know I'm not the only one by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, yeah. There's no reason, you really think about it, there's no reason why, with all the GMO food and all of the hormones that are being injected into things like chickens and goats and cows, where those hormones are actually being passed through you. And there's a reason why our girls are having their periods at 7 and 8 years old. It's just too much hormones in the damn food. I remember one of my cousins when I was growing up, she got her period at 8 years old. Can you imagine menstruating at 8 years old? She was. And she had developed a lot quicker than me. She had breast and everything, 8, 9 years old. And it's ridiculous. It's the food. It's the food. And it's the food that is the reason why you're seeing so much violence within the community. It's too much junk being served to us. So we're going to have to make an effort, even if you're not growing a garden, to try to get as much organic as possible. I know it's not always easy because our people sometimes are financially struggling and you may not always be able to do it. But in times when you are able to do it, try to do it. Yes, I had a cousin that actually started menstruating at 8. And you can't tell me those things are not environmental. That's why it's happening. It's the things that we're inhaling and the things that we are eating that are accelerating these things. And our bodies are responding in that kind of way. But it's crazy, the things that we're going through. We know these things are not normal. And, another thing, if you can get a book on herbs, try to get a book on herbs. I have a book that I bought. In fact, I got several books that tells you the type of herbs that work for different ailments that you may have, like colds and allergies and migraines. You want to get things like that. My little cousins have breast at 9. Yes. Yeah. And so did my cousin that had her menstrual cycle at 8. She had breast, she had curves. I mean, that's why everybody thought she was much older than 8, because she was just as curvy as some of the older teenagers that were in the area. So nobody thought she was just 8 years old. But like I said, it's this poor diet that we're in. And yeah, it's very wicked because the GMOs are just to grow crops faster. They don't care that those crops that are coming out the ground are unhealthy. They're just trying to make money. So they don't care. So these corn crops will develop in half of their time, where it would normally take several weeks for it to mature. It's now half of that time for the corn to mature, and it's on your table. It's crazy. And some farmers have refused to plant GMO crops because they know how how it affects human bodies, and people are having all kinds of issues, health issues. In any of those GMO products. I did a video just the other day on a black man that has terminal cancer so bad he's suing Monsanto, and they're trying to speed up his trial because they're saying by 2019 he probably won't even be here. Yeah, it does. And see, that's why you should not eat pork, because I was reading an article, and this must have been like back in 2010. It was a German doctor, and he was saying that no one on this planet should be eating pork. He said pork does something to the DNA that no other meat that you eat does. It says it completely alters the DNA. And it's because it's so genetically close to human DNA, it will alter it. When you eat it, it just completely alters it in so many ways that it is impacting your health. That's why when our people are getting heart disease, diabetes, and they're getting gout and all types of diseases, dementia, Alzheimer's, it's because that meat is toxic to our bodies. There's a reason why throughout the Bible, the Most High tells you not to eat swine. It's not meant to be food at all. The reason why swine exist on the planet, it was because to keep the planet clean. Whenever trash and everything accumulated in our Hebrew towns, you would just bring the pigs in to come and eat everything up. That was their purpose on this earth, to keep everything clean. Their purpose was not to ever eat them. Ever. That's right, Leviticus 11. It was never intended for them to eat. They were like your vacuum cleaners on the earth, to keep the area clean. And that's how our people kept any place that they lived in clean, because they just brought pigs in anytime trash started piling up. You didn't need no landfill. Today, you need landfills, but you did not need landfills during the time our ancestors were living. You didn't have that. That landfills are toxic. Not only is that trash sitting on land, that trash is going all the way through the soil and everything. See, these landfills and land dumps, that comes from this white man. We were never supposed to have the landfill on earth. That was never meant for that. Crab and shrimps were there to keep the ocean clean. Okay, that's what their purpose was. Those hard shell fish and those lobsters and crabs and crawfish, those hard shell fish were there to keep the ocean clean. But because so much fishing of those animals go on, the ocean is no longer clean. It's all murky when you look in the average ocean around the country. Instead of leaving those scavenger types of shellfish, and like your catfish is a scavenger fish, it cleans the dead carcasses. That's what your catfish does. It cleans all the dead carcasses and debris that's down in the ocean. And if you're eating those scavengers, then what's going to keep the ocean clean? Nothing. You know, they have knocked off the ecosystem by eating things that we were never supposed to eat in the first place. Yeah. Well, the ocean is going to die. That's already prophesized. There's nothing we can do to save the ocean. The ocean life, all of it is got to go. There's no, how is the Most High going to salvage the ocean when it's already defiled? It's toxic. He can't save that. He's got to get rid of it. It's nothing we can do to save it. These heathens have already tainted everything on this planet. This is why we're getting a new Jerusalem. You can't, how do you save what's already destroyed? You really can't. Yeah, I suggest that too. You know, everything that's toxic, and even the things that they have on fish farms, that's disgusting too. You know, a lot of those fish that they're growing in farms, those fish are eating their own poop. So that's not really a good thing for us either. Right. They are. They're really scavengers. Anything that's considered a scavenger, you should never attempt to eat at all. Oh yeah, yeah. I knew someone years ago that worked for the water company here, and they do. There's a lot of drugs in the water, even the water coming through your faucet. There's a lot of drugs in that water. And you're right, is condoms and all types of waste that goes in there from the hospital. Right. Um, right. You're right. Sanitary napkins, all of that goes into the water. Baby diapers, that stuff goes right into the ocean. There are companies that pay to have their stuff dumped out in the ocean. That's why it's so much of it. And every now and then you'll see that stuff floating up on shore, or you'll see animals that have consumed a whole bunch of plastic that they should not have been consuming out in the ocean. But they don't care. They They don't care. But like I said, there's no saving the ocean. That's why it's already prophesized. The ocean is out of here. It can't be saved. You know, the Most High is not letting these things go out of, you know, being mean or anything, but you can't save what these heathens done defiled. You know, it just can't be saved. Yeah. Did you see the videos online of fish that was already cooked and the fish is still moving around? Did y'all ever see those videos? You're seeing a lot of abnormal things. There are videos. You know what? Let me pull one up so you guys can see it. There are videos where people are cooking fish and the fish is still moving around in their ovens and on the grill. I'm going to show this to you. Give me 1 second, okay? Let me see if I can pull those up. This stuff ain't normal. You know something is seriously wrong when you see stuff like that. Hold on. I'm going to pull some of these up so you can see it. All right, here's some. Hold on, I'm going to share this with you. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right, watch this. Now, this fish has already been skinned and the head is off of it. And look what it's doing on a hot grill. Look at what this is doing on a hot grill, y'all. This is on a hot grill. Look at the fish. It's no head on it. It's the gills are off of it. The skin ain't on it no more. And look at what this fish is doing on a hot grill. You see that? I'm going to show you another one. This is the kind of stuff that's happening today. This is in an oven. Look at the fish in the oven. Look at the fish in the oven. You see that? You know, the Most High said we were going to see things that we never seen before. And it's the truth. It's the real truth. You're right. Brand 83 and throw that fish in the trash. You're right. But see, those things, remember, he said we're going to see things in these last days that we never, ever seen before. And we are. I know. I've never experienced that. But I think if I did, I would have a problem eating that fish. That is creepy. And sometimes the fish is already fully cooked and it's still bouncing around like it's alive. It's fully cooked and the damn thing is still bouncing around. It's crazy the things that are going on today. Yeah. You know, I actually put 6 drops of iodine on my tongue. I have some at home that I use every day. Yeah, it is creepy. Yeah, I mean, there are videos of fish jumping off the plate that's already been cooked, S-Mac. And when you guys get done with my hangout, you can go look these things up. It happens more often than you think. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't either. It's too creepy looking at stuff like that and still wanting to eat fish. That's so true. It's so true. Yeah, right. Unsunken one, I really believe that is what we're supposed to have, the vegetables. I think that's what most of our ancestors had anyway. That's a demon fish. You're right, Mr. Lawrence. It sure is. Yeah. Well, the Asians do eat stuff alive. They'll eat a live octopus. I've seen that, where they'll just get a knife and chop off pieces of the octopus while it's still alive and they'll eat it. The Asians are disgusting anyway. They do stuff like that. They are a nasty group of people. Yes, Daniel did. He sure did. Anytime our people mourned, you automatically went into a fast whenever you were mourning, mourning a death. Yeah, they are, Mr. Lawrence. Asians sure are heathens. Absolutely. And they're another group that's dying out. And China really screwed themselves over because they had that limit on how many children you could have. And most of them elected to have boys over girls. So now, this generation over in China, there's a whole bunch of boys and hardly no girls. So there's less marriages, and in certain Asian countries, they are also having a problem reproducing. They're having the same problem these white people are having. Yeah, we're going to see all kinds of weird stuff happening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to go over the scripture on the new moon. You know, um, the Most High only expect us to do our very best. We know we can't do these things the same way our ancestors did. We're not going to be able to do those things until we come back together as one into the kingdom. But for now, we can acknowledge these things. And if you just want to do a little feast at your house once a month to acknowledge the new moon, it's nothing wrong with that either. Okay. Yeah, I know, Brenda. It is freaky when you see it for the first time. It really is. I was freaking out just like you. I was. Just the thought of something cooking is still bouncing around and moving. That is just creepy as hell. So I just wanted to show you that, ladies and gentlemen. Um, so I'm going to cut this live stream short. We'll definitely come together and do another live stream. I'm going to try to plan a live stream on my old channel. Those of you that might not know, I was able to get my old channel back. So I'm going to try to plan a live stream in about a week on that channel so that we can all come together. Um, and hopefully they won't bother me anytime soon after this. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, doing two live streams today. One will be J Dog. Okay, J Dog. All right. Since I know in advance, I'll try to be there on your live stream. Definitely. We make sure you support as many Black YouTubers as possible, especially the ones that are on the same page. I'm not encouraging anybody to support coons, but we need to definitely support each other's channels as much as possible. Oh, hold on. There is one more thing I want to show y'all. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, here. This is Guru. Just put this video out. I want y'all to see this. There is a plant that causes third-degree burns on Caucasians. It doesn't seem to have that impact on anyone else, but let me go ahead and play this for you. I want y'all to see this.
Greetings, family, and welcome to another edition of Black Talk Radio, where Black media matters and Black life definitely matters. Thanks a lot for joining. Today is Saturday, June 23rd, 2018. This video today is about an invasive plant that causes third-degree burns and permanent blindness that's been discovered this past Tuesday in Virginia. Let's take a look at this and see what type of plant causes third-degree burns and permanent blindness, and to whom does it cause these issues for? So they report that this plant has hollow stems and are generally 2 to 4 inches in diameter, with dark purple and red raised spots and bristle like hairs on them. Now, I ask you, do you have these plants at your home? Well, it appears that these plants tend to cause a reaction to a demographic of people. Let's take a look at what we're talking about. This picture is quite gruesome, and we've seen these pictures before. We know another reporter on YouTube who posts quite a few of these type of stories by the name of Lisa Cabrera. She is a very good YouTube reporter, and she keeps us up to date on many of these issues. And it appears in this picture that the only people that this affects are white skinned people. They are the ones who have the type of skin that does not protect them from these type of issues. So again, I ask, do you have these plants at your home? What's a trip about these plants is they can grow up to 16 feet tall. The sap can cause painful blisters that can form and become dark and pigmented, and scars that can last up to 6 years, according to the NYDEC. So, in brief, the sap prevents your skin from protecting itself from sunlight, which leads to a very bad sunburn, according to the New York Department of Environmental Conservation. Heat and moisture, sweat, or dew can worsen the skin reaction. The phototoxic reaction can begin as soon as 15 minutes after contact, with sensitivity peak between 30 minutes and 2 hours after contact. Again, this is something that white people have to be concerned about. If the sap gets into the eye, it can even lead to blindness. Environmental officials in Virginia said that while there has just been one confirmed case in Clark County, they are warning residents in other parts of the state to stay alert for potential sightings. There have been reports from VDOT of sightings of giant hogweed in the Stanton area and Middlesex County, Isle of Wright County, posted to Facebook. There's a strong possibility that the giant hogweed could find its way into the Tidewater coastal Virginia area. Besides the threat to humans, giant hogweed can also impact the environment. The plant can grow up to 16 feet, creating a lot of shade in the area and inhibiting the growth of native species. The plants have hollow stems, as I mentioned, that are between 2 to 4 inches in diameter, with the dark purple and red raised spots. Environmental officials say that if you want to remove the plant, do not use a weed whacker because the plant sap can splatter and then spread quickly. But of course, you know, the low IQ alt-wrong folks, they don't read, they won't pay attention to that. Hopefully they use the weed whacker. But nonetheless, it says eradication should be done by physical removal or using herbicides such as glyphosate or triclofor, according to the NYDEC. It may be possible for hogweed seeds to remain viable in the soil for up to 15 years, the agency said. For this reason, long-term monitoring is very important. Check the site and surrounding areas for the next several years for the emergence of any hogweed seedlings or regrowth from previous year's plants. Again, Black folks, how many of these plants do you have in your yard? Anyways, this is Guru reporting to you from Black Talk Radio, hoping you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot for joining. We'll see you in the next video. As my shirt says, read books, not shirts. Peace out.
You see that? It is a plant that impacts white people only, and the effects of the 3rd-degree burn. I'm going to give you a link to that. This is a brother named Guru. The effects of that 3rd-degree burn can last 6 years if the plant, you know, the juice on the inside of it gets on their skin. It can, that burn they get can last 6 years. And they can go completely blind if it gets in their eyes, but they are the ones that have the most adverse effect from this hogweed. But let me give you the link. I'll put the link to this so you can go out to Guru. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe to this brother. He does put out some really good videos. So there's the link to the YouTube video. And this is Guru. You want a truckload of that, huh, Queen? I hear you. Yeah, boy. And like I said, the effects of it, it keeps them feeling like they're on fire for 6 years. Can you believe that? They feel like they're flaming up. Woo! Only the Most High can put a plant on this earth that impacts them and no one else. Boy, how brilliant is that? How brilliant is that? All right, so we're going to leave on that video. Thank you all for joining me for this moment, just to go over a little bit of the new moon in the Bible. But I thank you, and we'll come together again at another time. To all of you that are Hebrew, Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy the rest of your Sabbath and try to get some Bible in today. Peace, family.